It's taken me some time, but I have finally managed to get on the program of Inside Athletics. Sanya Richards-Ross, the world and Olympic champion at 400 meters. Thank you for being with me, Sanya.
Happy to be here.
So tell me about where you are right now in your career. You're looking towards one more Olympic Games. Mm-hmm. You got the thing that had eluded you for some time, yes, the Olympic gold in London. Mm-hmm. So when you get up and it's raining in yes, Texas and you don't really want to go to practice, your motivation is what?
My motivation at this point in my career, like you said, I feel like I have greater perspective. I've been in the sport for over 12 years, and I just want to continue to build on my legacy. I have had so much success in the 400 and been very blessed to travel the world. And like you said, I won my Olympic gold. I'm a world champion. But I want to continue to add to that. I would love to defend my title in Rio, mm-hmm, and be a two-time Olympic gold medalist and hopefully win gold in Beijing at the World Championship. I think that would be great redemption after not winning in Beijing in 2008. So that still motivates me. I love what I do. I love to compete. And I really want to represent well before my career comes to an end.
Now, when I started this show last year, and I thought about the question I would ask you, I mm-hmm, think that more than any other guest we have had, this is something that you can answer better. There are a lot of people who start and they're prodigies, uh-huh, and then they have good college careers. Yes. Very few of them have all three. You were a prodigy who ran well when you were young. Mm-hmm. You had an amazing career at Texas, mm-hmm, and yet you've been able to be a world and Olympic champion. Yeah. What is it that you think is unique to you and how you have gone about your career, yeah, that has enabled that?
I would say that's, first of all, it's a great question. And a lot of things pop into my head, but I think the one thing that has remained the same, that has allowed me to have success on all levels, would be my family support. Mm-hmm. When I look over most of the careers of many athletes, like you said, when I went to college, there were tremendous prodigies. They came to college and they got lost in the system, and I think the reason they got lost was they didn't have their families there. And my parents, on the drop of a dime, they would fly to Texas and be there to support me and just encourage me my entire way. And that continued through my professional career, where my mom and dad became my managers, mm-hmm, and travel all over the country with me. So I would say for me, I'm not sure what works for everyone else, but for sure for me, having that stability and support from my family, I think has sustained me and allowed me to be very successful. And I just have a great team. I've been fortunate to assemble a great team around me. My coach, my physio, my strength coach, and my track coach. They're just all great. And my parents have instilled in me tremendous work ethic. So, I would say the one main thing that's never changed has been my family support.
I have gotten a chance, fortunately for me, to cover most of your career. My favorite race of yours is the Beijing anchor leg. What is your favorite race? Maybe it's not a relay. What's your favorite race? I mean, I know you may be a little partial to the London Olympic gold, but what's your favorite race career-wise?
I think it's going to surprise you. Most people, of course, London ranks as my most important race.
Of course.
And the one that I had dreamt about for many years, and it was more than I ever dreamt of. But ironically, my most favorite race, when I go back and try to get my positive vibes and I want to go and execute well, it's actually in 2009 in Brussels, and it's kind of an innocuous race.
Really?
I think I did win the Golden League on that race, but there was just something magical about the race. I ran 48.8. It's not even my fastest time. I ran 48.70 at the World Cup.
I remember the race. Big margin of victory.
Yes, I won by almost 2 seconds. I just was so in sync with just my technique, my execution. And for me, it was always my best race. I think I would have run faster. If I would have known I was running so well, I think I would have run my PR in that race. But that for me is the one that always pops into my head as my best executed race, and just the conditions seemed to be perfect. The wind was kind of chasing me around the track, it felt. So yeah, the Olympics, of course, and the World Cup were two great races, the World Championships in Berlin. But when it comes to just great execution and coming off of with a great time, I would say it was Brussels 2009.
If you could go back, it is what it is. If you can go back and talk to 20-year-old Sanya,
yes,
about to leave the University of Texas,
yes,
what advice would you give her based on what you know now about pro track and field,
yes,
managing your career,
yes,
dealing with disappointment, everything?
If I could go back and talk to my 19 or 20-year-old self, I would tell her to be patient. Good things come to those who wait. And I think one of the things, too, I'd probably tell the younger Sanya is really to just stay focused. I think one of the things, we were talking about this today, when you start to have success in one event. So I started having success in the 400 in 2005. I was world number one. And then you get greedy and you want to do the 2, you want to do the 100, and you want to do everything. I think a lot of athletes do that. But I think if I could go back, I would really just focus more on the 400 and continue to get better and better there. And that's what I'm doing now. I've become even more a master of my craft, watching more film, working with Coach more closely, asking more questions. I know he's like, we've talked about this a million times.
Right.
But now I really do see how important it is to be 100% in tune with the race to be able to have my best results. So I'd say be patient and stay focused.
Now, it sounds like what you're saying is that sometimes your 200-meter running has maybe detracted from your 400-meter running?
I wouldn't say that much. I would say that I think there's some ways that it has made me better, because I do think my speed work has helped, of course, to make me run faster 400s. But I think there's just a change in your mentality when you start to want to do the 100 and 200 and all the events. You lose the focus that you had on the 400, where it was your bread and butter, and you kind of eat, sleep, and breathe that event. Now you take a little bit off and you lose your edge in some way. And so when you were even talking about Christian Taylor today, and you asked him that question about running the 400 and will it take something away, I pray it doesn't. But inevitably, when you start to focus on something else, you have to lose focus a little bit on your main event. So yeah, I would say that I think in some ways it made me better, but I'm not sure if I would have had more success in the 400 if I didn't want to dabble so much.
Now, you were born in Jamaica. A lot of people, your fans certainly know that. You have spent a lot of time and a lot of energy in giving back to Vaz Prep and a lot of your Jamaican interests.
Yes.
Tell me why that's been so important to you.
One, because that's where my foundation was laid, and when I was traveling back and forth, I go to Jamaica a lot, and I had heard that illiteracy was rising in the country. I just thought I had to do something, because I remember when we came to the States and we migrated to the States, and I'll never forget this. My sister and I were going to the 7th and 8th grade. My sister's a year younger than me. And the teacher said, they're too young. They have to stay a year back. My mom said, not my girls. My girls are smart and they're ready. And they
Caribbean mothers, boy.
Yes, and they gave us a test and we passed with flying colors. And so we were able to stay progressing in the grades that we were supposed to. And I just thought that foundation allowed me to have all the success I had today. And so I wanted to help. And just be very honest too, your money goes a much further way in a country like Jamaica than in the United States. So I was able to invest money there that had, just reached more students. And the program started with 70 kids. Now we have 700 kids in our program.
Wow.
So it's just been phenomenal to see that, and I'm just happy to help in any way that I can.
Well, let me thank you, Sanya, on behalf of the fans as well as the athletes who have passed where you are now. I think what you've brought to the sport is very unique. You're certainly a glamorous athlete, but at the same time, what you have represented both on the track and off, I think has been a real credit to both yourself and to your family.
I appreciate it. You've been doing a great job too, Ada.
Thank you very
for what
much.
you bring to the sport as well.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me.
All right.